Hey guys, welcome back to Talking BaD. I'm your host, Maggie Campbell, and we have a really special guest with us. His name's Terry Vance. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, no problem, Maggie. It's my pleasure.
We just had the privilege of him speaking to us in our business program, and we learned a lot about his business story. It was so insightful, and I'm so glad that today we get to dive deeper and share your story with our audience so we can spotlight you and your career and all the amazing things that you do. I'd love to hear just a quick overview of your business story and some important highlights that you think are, good to mention.
Sure. I was just a kid in high school, much like you guys are right now, and I was involved in motorcycles, and I liked motorcycle racing. And fortunately, I was decent at it, and I ended up getting picked up by the Suzuki company as a factory rider. So I raced for them for a while, and because of the involvement with them, I was fortunate enough to meet my partner and also start my business. And a business name is Vance Hines. Mm-hmm. And we started the company in 1979, and it was pretty fast growth company. We started off with just my partner and I, and then within a couple of years we had 80 employees. And then a couple of years after that, I think we got up to almost 700. So wow. Got to be pretty big. And then in 2002, we actually sold the business to a private equity group and partnered with them for expansion going forward. And that worked out really good. Then we made that exit a few years later. And now we're just involved in consulting with the company and being involved with the brand owned by a big company.
Amazing. What a gift it is to have a passion at a young age and have this privilege to turn it into a profitable business and pursue that for your entire life.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about business class today. It's like, if you get to be involved in your passion and also make it your career, that's like a gift, right?
I mean, that's what everybody wants,
sure.
Right?
Yeah, you wake up in the morning not saying, oh, I got to go to work. You wake up going, man, I can't wait to get there. So
of course,
that makes a huge difference. And for me, I just got really lucky because it's what I love doing. And I'm still involved in it today. 50 years later.
I mean, you talk a lot about being lucky. I think one of the things that you mentioned that really stuck out to me is how your partnership with Harley Davidson, they came to you wanting to partner with you. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, with your business partner and with all the aspects, how did you move forward in that partnership knowing it was right? And I know you struggled with your business partner. I'm just wondering how that process was for you, considering how impactful of a partnership that was.
Sure. I never struggled with my partner as a partner. I just struggled with him as far as getting involved with Harley Davidson because it was a completely new venue. We hadn't done any V-twin stuff. We'd done all Japanese stuff prior to that. So it was a bit of a challenge, and it was actually a pretty big hurdle to get over. But fortunately, the guys were smart enough to do it, and we succeeded at it. I think we were with Harley Davidson for 20 years, and we ended up winning 10 championships out of the 20 years. So, that's a pretty good return on the investment for them. And they were really happy. We were really happy. And growth-wise for the company, it made all the difference in the world.
Yeah. I think that communicating with your partner, sometimes it's not easy, but taking those risks together, I can just see from your success that it was so worth it. Just communicating with your partner and making sure that he knew that this was the right decision.
I think, at the end of the day, we wanted to win, right?
Yeah.
So, our goal was if we win at the racetrack, that solves a lot of problems for us marketing wise, promotion of our products, things like that. And we ended up doing that. So we were pretty lucky. So anyway, I think that, in any business, you get situations where whether it's with your partner or whether it's with your business obstacles, you're going to have challenges. You got to meet those head on, and you got to have the attitude I'm going to win.
Yeah. You speak a lot about the marketing and the success. I think that's a big value for you, that you want to win, right? Mm-hmm. I'm wondering in the marketing aspect, how do you communicate those values and morals and things that you want to portray to your audience and your customers? How do you portray that to them in order to cultivate a loyal following and your customers that have stuck with you for the entire ride? Sure,
that's a great question. The hard part with any consumer product is you have to have customer loyalty, and they have to feel like there's value in buying your product.
Of course.
If you provide that for them, then they come back and buy it again, right? Mm-hmm. And so for us, it was most important that we built a product that was better than anyone else had on the market. Mm-hmm. And that's what we tried to accomplish, and I think we achieved it most of the time.
Yeah.
So, obviously so did the people that were buying our products, because we continued to grow. But like I said, we sell products in 210 countries around the world. So we've got a pretty good reach around the globe as far as our product availability goes. And people know us mainly because of racing, and and we win at the racetrack. So
Yeah.
they naturally assume that the product that they buy from us is going to be quality.
Yeah. I mean, this is your community, like the racing community. And something that stuck out to me that you mentioned in your presentation is the social aspect, that connections are everything.
They are.
I'm wondering what your advice would be as to getting out there, because it's easy to have an idea for your business, right? But the connections that you make, sometimes it can be uncomfortable to put yourself out there. Like,
Well, it's hard to, everybody has a good idea once in a while, but connecting all the dots to make it a profitable idea is much more of a challenge. So a lot of times when you sit down and you say, oh, this is a great idea, you have to think it through from beginning to end, make a little business plan and understand what it's going to cost you resources wise, how much you're going to have to spend on assets, how much you're going to spend on daily maintenance, how much you're going to spend on expenses. That's why I encourage all the young guys, if you get the opportunity, try to get your finance class involved in your college studies, because you need to understand the difference between an income statement and a balance sheet, because that helps you to guide your business and run your business properly. Okay. Without that, I don't know how you'd succeed, to be honest.
Yeah. I love hearing about all of this success, like so many wins for you. But unfortunately for most of us, and even for you, that's not the reality all of the time.
No, not at all.
We have so many failures and obstacles that we face. And I mean, I think it's comforting just to hear that, somebody like you went through those.
Well, the main thing that I'd like to leave with the young guys when I talk to them at any classes is that they have a lot of time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, what ends up to be a failure today doesn't mean that their whole goal is over or their whole thought is over. They got to keep trying. You got to keep getting up off the mat and getting after it. And if you do that, you're going to be successful, because you're going to be smarter every time you get up off that mat.
Yeah.
And failure is part of any business. There's not a business out there that only succeeds. There's failures in it. You just don't see them because they don't make them obvious to you.
I mean, I feel like what defines a successful person, an unsuccessful person, is their willingness to have that persistence when they face those failures. I mean, if it's something that you're really passionate about, you push forward no matter what. And I'm sure you've learned a lot from those obstacles. You do,
but you also understand that humility is part of the game. It's like if you're not humble enough to understand that you could be the problem, things aren't succeeding, and that's hard. So sometimes you look at it and you go, maybe I'm the problem. If I'm the problem, how do I fix that? The one other thing with most young business owners is, I hate to use this phrase because it's kind of cliche, but they don't know what they don't know. And I know that's a really important statement, okay? They don't know things, and they don't take the time to look around and go, what possibly things could go wrong? What could happen that's going to set me back? They got to anticipate those things. They got to know there's a possibility of those things coming. And if they do that, then they have a lot better chance of success.
I mean, to admit you don't know something is to really let go of
or
your
that
ego.
You don't have the right idea, or that you're not the right person for that job, or somebody else might be better in your organization.
That takes an immense amount of humility.
It does.
Letting go of your ego.
It does. And because you want to be, most people, they want to be the man or the woman, and they want to be the one calling the shots. So it isn't about calling the shots. It's about, is the whole overall deal a success, not are you successful?
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's everything you say is so insightful and inspiring. One thing that I'm really curious to know is, what would you tell your high school self that you wish you would have known throughout your process, and that you think that young aspiring entrepreneurs could really benefit from hearing right now?
I think for the first 10 years of my career, the thing that I wish when I look back on, is if I had just valued education more. I didn't really think it was that big a deal that you had college or advanced learning. I didn't. I learned fast with my business because I didn't have it, and that really hurt me. But when you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, you're talking about, you better be pretty smart, because you can make a mistake that costs you dearly. Yeah. So for me, I wish I had that knowledge, and I wish I had taken the time. And like I said in class, it's like, maybe I would have missed the opportunity and the timing would have been wrong. So things worked out. I circled back and did learn. But for the young guys today, take the time, understand accounting, understand your plan, and make sure you put it down and be thorough.
I feel like education, it's something that we so often want to dismiss, but you learned it the hard way. Why not learn it the easy way and just commit, right?
Well, the problem is that if you go to school, right, you might take 12 classes, let's just say, over the course of a couple of seasons, a couple of years or whatever. Well, 6 of those might be a complete waste of your time, right? I encourage the young guys to focus in on what they're passionate about, what they need to know, find out what they don't know, and take those classes and make sure that every class they take is something that's interesting to them and keeps them engaged.
Yeah.
If you're taking a bunch of bad classes that you don't like,
Yeah.
you're not going to stay engaged.
No.
So make sure that you stay engaged in things that you really enjoy and make sure that those things benefit your overall
Yeah.
plan.
I mean, the engaging ones that you don't know might be the most difficult, but
That's right.
in the end, like it's going to be easier for you when you know those things. And
Well,
you don't
I mean,
have to
perfect
go to
example is
somebody.
accounting. You know, I mean, it's like if you don't understand at the end of the year how much money you're going to have after you make your plan, right? You've got a problem because you need to know that because you're already working on the next year's goals. So how do you forecast the following year when you don't even know what you're making this year, right?
Exactly.
So you have to have that stuff, Maggie. If you don't, it'll really be a detriment to your business. I got lucky because we were so busy that it didn't really matter because my inability to do that didn't kill us because we were so busy.
Yeah.
Some people don't get that opportunity, so you got to know. And if I did from then, I think my business could have grew a lot faster than it did.
Thank you so much, seriously, for being here. Everything you say is so valuable, and I'm sure that our audience is going to take a lot away from it. We really are so privileged to have you here with us.
I appreciate that, Maggie. Thanks. I hope any of the kids that are hearing this are just, thinking about being an entrepreneur. I think it's a great thing to do. And I think it's, even if you have to work for somebody for a while, always be looking around and seeing what they're doing and how they're doing it and why they're doing it. And then try to think about how you could do it better.
Yeah.
And when you do your own business or do your own thing.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Make sure to check out our podcast if you're listening on YouTube. We also have Spotify. Vice versa, if you're listening on Spotify, we're also on YouTube, so you can see our faces and connect with us. Our Instagram is HBHS Design, and we'd love to hear any feedback you may have. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Terry.